Hello to everyone. My name is Rajan Rajan, licensed paralegal from His Master's Legal Services. In today's presentation, I want to talk about landlord and tenant issues. In today's presentation, I will be focusing on landlord filing the application to evict the tenant for his own use. So such an application would start with a legal notice called N12. So when you fill out the N12 notice, you have to be careful. Put the tenant's name, all the tenants in the residential lease has to be stated properly. Put the landlord's name. If the landlord happens to be a corporation, put the corporation's name. And then when you put the address of the unit, make sure even the unit number is correctly marked. The next part is the termination date. As you know, or perhaps by now you know, that you have to give 60 days notice to the tenant. And the 60 days notice that you give should reflect the last date of or the last day of the rental period. That means if the tenancy started on March 1st, the end date would be March 31st. If the tenancy started on March 15th, then the end date would be April 14th. Then, of course, the year that you will put, then you will put your information on the next page. You would be signing it, you'll be dating it, and when it comes to serving the notice, you make sure you serve the notice properly. When I say you serve the notice properly, you can serve it in the mailbox where the mails are normally delivered, or you can slide the notice under the door of the rental unit, or you can simply hand over to the tenant. If you ring the bell, of course, the tenant shows up, you can hand over the legal notice to the tenant. Then there are a few things you have to remember about this N12 notice. One, you have to prove to the board that you're filing this application in good faith. You're not filing the application just because you had a very frustrating experience with the tenant and you had enough with the tenant and you just want to get rid of it. And the easiest way you thought would be filing the N12 notice. That would be a good example for bad faith application. Then the next step, you have to give to the tenant 1 month compensation prior to the termination date that you put on the Residential Tenancy Act. I'm sorry, the end date that you put or the termination date that you put on the N12 notice. So let's say you put it March 31st, 2021. That means you have to give the 1 month compensation before March 31st, 2021. So, like I said before, you have to file the application and you have to prove to the board that you are filing this application in good faith. You have paid to the tenant 1 month compensation before the termination date, and you are giving under oath a statement in your affidavit that you will be living there for a period of 1 year. And lastly, you state that you are going to use the property, or you are seeking the property for residential use, not for doing business out of your home. Once you file all the N12 and L2 application, then the next step is waiting for a hearing date. And once you get the hearing date, and or if you find yourself having difficulties in filling out the forms, applications, or the task seems to be somewhat intimidating you, you can contact us, His Master's Legal Services, 416-757-2525, or rajan at masterslegal.com. Thank you. Wish you good luck with your application.